Before the universe had form, before a single angel bowed in worship, there was a throne. Not just a seat, but the very axis of all existence. From it radiated glory, lightning, and unspeakable beauty. But this throne wasn't placed arbitrarily. Its structure, its surroundings, its living guardians, all follow a divine architecture more ancient than time itself. What if the design of God's throne room is not symbolic, but functional? What if every fiery stone, every wheel within a wheel, every creature covered in eyes encodes a hidden order of the cosmos? Prepare to uncover the esoteric blueprint of heaven's holiest chamber, and why its design still governs reality itself. Before creation's curtain was ever lifted, before light danced on the surface of the deep, and before angels sang their first notes into the cosmic silence, there existed a realm untouched by decay, measure, or mortality. A realm not of clay and dust, but of glory and fire. This was not heaven as poets dream it, nor a kingdom abstracted by mystics, but the original sanctuary of existence, the holy domain where God's throne stands eternal, unshaken, and unapproachable by natural mind. It was here, in the dimension before time, that the first architecture existed, not of wood or stone or brick, but of essence, order, and flame. No mortal had seen it, but fragments were revealed to those chosen to receive glimpses beyond the veil. Ezekiel, who saw a storm cloud split open with fire, flashing, and 4 living beings upholding a throne of sapphire. Isaiah, who trembled at the sight of a throne high and lifted up, the hem of God's robe filling the heavenly temple, as seraphim cried out with thunderous, "Holy, holy, holy." And John, who was caught up into the Spirit and beheld a sea of glass like crystal before a throne encircled by emerald light, surrounded by elders, lightning, peals of thunder, and creatures covered in eyes. These were not hallucinations or allegories. They were visions of blueprints, windows into the throne room of the Most High. And unlike earthly thrones built by men to symbolize power, this throne is power. Unlike palaces constructed to house kings, this throne houses no one. God Himself is the structure's glory. The sapphire pavement beneath the throne is not merely flooring, it is divine foundation, symbolic of unbreakable truth, clarity, and justice. The fire that radiates from the presence is not kindled, it is self-existent, flowing from the very nature of God, consuming yet not destroying, revealing yet not blinding. Surrounding the throne are beings that defy imagination, creatures whose forms declare function. The cherubim, each bearing 4 faces, lion, ox, eagle, and man, are not mythic beasts but spiritual pillars that reflect dominion over creation, strength and service, sovereignty from above, and divine wisdom. These are the carriers of the throne, the very ones who move as the throne moves, for it is written that the spirit of the living creatures is within the wheels, wheels intersecting wheels, covered in eyes, spinning in all directions without turning. This is motion without chaos, omnidirectionality without contradiction. The throne is never idle. It breathes movement, even in stillness. The wheels are not decoration. They are transportation, not for God's sake, but for the sake of revelation and judgment. What appears as chaos to the human eye is, in fact, perfect orchestration, the synchronized breathing of holiness across dimensions. Thunder rolls from the throne, not because the air splits, but because the voice of God speaks. Like the roar of many waters, John said. It is the language of authority, speaking realities into being, issuing decrees that ripple through all created layers, from the spiritual into the physical, from the eternal into the temporal. The rainbow encircling the throne is not an aesthetic flourish. It is the manifestation of covenant, promise wrapped in light, a visible reminder that justice and mercy are never separated in the presence of the Ancient of Days. Fire pours out, not just as a symbol of judgment, but as a constant purifier, maintaining the throne's sanctity, ensuring that no decay, no rebellion, no death can ever taint its holiness again. This throne is not a piece of furniture. It is the epicenter of all dominion, the architectonic heart of the cosmos. From it flows the design of galaxies, the laws of time, the ordering of angelic hosts, and the moral law written upon the conscience of man. Its structure is reality, its measurements are truth, and though prophets saw it with trembling, No one has fully described its totality because what they saw was only as much as human language could carry. Ezekiel saw fire enfolded in itself, brightness around it, and a throne like a sapphire stone above the heads of the cherubim, and above that throne, a figure like that of a man glowing with fiery brilliance from waist up and down. He could only say, like, for the radiance could not be defined. It could only be approximated. Isaiah could only fall and cry, "Woe is me," for even the burning ones, the seraphim, covered their faces in reverence. John, transported into eternity, could only collapse as though dead when he beheld the one who sat upon the throne. The design of God's throne room is not ornamental. It is esoteric engineering infused with holy intelligence, resonating in harmony with the voice that said, "Let there be." Every detail, the 4 living creatures, the 24 elders, the 7 torches blazing before the throne, the sea of glass, represents real function, real authority, real layers of worship and government. This is the command center of the universe, not a myth, not a symbol, a living court where justice flows, praise never ceases, and no impurity can survive. And from this throne came all other thrones. Every ruler who has ever reigned has done so under its shadow, knowingly or not. Every government has borrowed its principle of rule from this high pattern, and yet not one has matched its perfection. It alone is eternal, incorruptible, immovable. It was established before Eden, before Lucifer's rebellion, before the first angel sang his first note. This throne existed when there was nothing but God himself. It stood firm before time could tick, before matter could matter, before light had a name. And even now, while the world trembles with wars, ideologies, and instability, the throne remains unshaken. Psalm 93 declares, "Your throne was established long ago. You are from all eternity." It is not a thing among things. It is the origin of all things. And one day, when all earthly thrones fall and every crown is cast down, this throne will still stand. This is the architecture of glory, the foundation of eternity, the blazing axis of divine order, the first blueprint, unseen by man, untouched by time, yet echoing through every particle of existence. The throne before time, the seat of the I Am, the beginning of beginnings. They were the first to witness light, the first to hear the thunder of creation ripple across eternity. Before man was shaped from dust, before sin ever stained the fabric of the world, these beings stood, watching, singing, burning, moving, not as servants awaiting command, but as extensions of divine will itself. They are not like us. They are not even like the angels that visited Abraham or spoke to Mary. These are the inner court, the living beings that uphold, encircle, and animate the throne of God. They are not metaphors. They are not static sculptures. They are intelligent, eternal, terrifyingly beautiful entities whose every wing beat resonates with celestial intent. The cherubim are first, not the chubby infants of Renaissance imagination, but mighty beings with wings like windstorms and faces that turn in every direction. Ezekiel saw them up close and trembled. 4 faces, each man, lion, ox, eagle, looking out to the 4 corners of creation. They did not turn as they moved, for they were already facing every direction. Their wings touched, forming an unbroken canopy of glory. Under their feet, burning coals like torches leapt between them, and lightning flashed forth from their midst. They were not independent. They moved only as the Spirit moved, perfectly synchronized, without hesitation. These cherubim were not wandering. They carried something. Upon their heads hovered a crystal expanse, and above it, the throne. They were the bearers of divine government, the very platform upon which God's presence rested. But their strength was not merely in bearing weight, it was in preserving holiness. They first appear in Eden, standing at the east of the garden with flaming swords, guarding the way back to the tree of life. Not out of cruelty, but out of justice. For once innocence was lost, no unclean thing could pass them. And so they stand, immovable, unmoved, the watchers of the boundary between death and glory. In the tabernacle, it was their golden forms that covered the mercy seat, wing touching wing, over the place where God would speak. Their presence, always near the throne, declares a constant message. The way to God is holy. Access is not casual. Glory has guardians. But the cherubim do not act alone. Above them, Isaiah saw another order. Seraphim, the burning ones. They are not made of fire, they are fire, not metaphorically, but ontologically. Their very being is flame, not consuming, but purifying. Each has 6 wings, 2 covering their face, for even they cannot look directly at the one they serve, 2 covering their feet, in reverence and humility, and with 2 they fly, suspended in perpetual motion around the throne. Their cry is endless, not because they must repeat it, but because holiness never ceases. Holy, 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 they call, not once, not twice, but threefold, echoing the completeness of divine purity that stretches beyond comprehension. Their voices shake the temple, and smoke fills the space, not as pollution, but as a veil of mystery, signaling that no flesh may gaze upon what burns within. The seraphim do not leave the throne. They do not carry messages. They do not fight battles. Their singular purpose is worship, and in that worship, they release power. For worship is not ornamental, it is generative. Their fire sanctifies. When Isaiah cried out, "Woe is me," it was a seraph who took a coal from the altar, flew to him, and touched his lips. Fire did not destroy him, it healed him. This is the paradox of their flame. Judgment that purifies, holiness that invites. And then there are the ophanim, the wheels, the strangest and least understood. Ezekiel called them wheels within wheels, their rims covered in eyes, their movement constant, their synchronization perfect. They moved in any direction without turning, not machines, not symbols, beings, sentient spiritual mechanisms of divine mobility. Where they go, the spirit goes. Where they lift, the cherubim follow. They are the rotational logic of heaven's design. Their purpose is not only transport, but revelation. Covered in eyes, they see all. They are perception-made motion, discernment embodied in geometry. They ensure that the throne of God is not isolated in eternity, but present in history. For the throne is not static, it moves. And when it moves, judgment comes. The ophanim are the wheels of providence. They turn nations, they shift kingdoms. They arrive in dreams, in storms, in moments of history when heaven invades earth. Together, these 3, cherubim, seraphim, and ophanim, do not form a hierarchy, but a harmony. They are the structure around the structure, not additions, but extensions. The throne does not merely sit among them, it breathes through them. Like organs in a living body, each performs a function. The cherubim sustain, the seraphim sanctify. The ophanim synchronize. They do not speak of themselves, they speak of the one who sits enthroned. Their forms are strange because they are not shaped by the logic of flesh. Their movement is unnatural because they are not bound by physics. Their roles are permanent because glory does not evolve, it is. Every face on the cherubim declares a truth about God, man, his wisdom, lion, his majesty, ox, his servanthood, eagle, his sovereignty. Every wing of the seraphim whispers a secret. That reverence is not weakness, but power. That worship is not noise, but fire. That silence before holiness is the highest speech of heaven. Every rotation of the ophanim declares that no one escapes the eyes of God, that history is not chaos, but choreography. These beings are not worshipped, but their existence commands worship. They are not to be feared, but their presence humbles kings. And what they do in heaven echoes on earth. The temple's design reflected them. The ark reflected them. The tabernacle's orientation, the priest's vestments, the burning incense, all shadows of what these beings do in eternity. They are the original liturgy, the eternal ceremony from which all true worship is patterned. And they do not tire, they do not age, they do not question. Not because they are mindless, but because they are full of eyes. They see him. And having seen him, they cannot unsee. No distraction can pull their gaze. No rebellion can shake their loyalty. They have seen the throne, and they have become part of it. They are the border between chaos and cosmos, the scaffolding of heaven's court, the living geometry of eternity's government. To understand them is not merely to understand angels, but to understand how God reigns, not randomly, not silently, but through structure, through order, through living architecture that pulses with glory. They are not just nearby, they are necessary. Without them, the throne would not be the throne. With them, it is not just a seat, but a system, a reality, a kingdom whose foundation is not made of stone, but of song, fire, wings, and wheels. And it is this kingdom that shall never pass away. When the God of eternity spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai, it was not just to hand down laws, it was to unveil a blueprint. Amid thunder and smoke, fire and trembling ground, God revealed something that had never been seen by human eyes, a divine pattern, a sacred architecture not born from imagination, but descending from heaven itself. See that you make everything according to the pattern shown you on the mountain, God commanded, Exodus 25:40. And with that, heaven's throne room reached into earth, embedding its geometry, symbolism, and structure into the wilderness tabernacle. This was no primitive tent. Every detail, every thread, hook, measurement, material, was a shadow of the celestial court. The Ark of the Covenant, crafted from acacia wood and overlaid with pure gold, was not a religious box. It was the earthly echo of the heavenly throne. Upon its lid, the mercy seat, two cherubim of beaten gold faced one another with wings outstretched, covering the place where God's presence would manifest. Between those wings, God said, "There I will meet with you." This was not symbolism, it was recreation. For the same cherubim that Ezekiel saw holding the sapphire throne aloft now had their golden reflections standing in the innermost place of worship on earth. Behind the veil, where only the high priest could enter once a year, the most holy place was not a concept. It was a replica, a smaller version, an echo of a greater original. The veil itself, blue, purple, and scarlet, embroidered with cherubim, was a woven version of the firmament, the barrier between realms, separating what is holy from what is common, what is eternal from what is temporal. The golden lampstand, or menorah, stood in the holy place with 7 flames continually burning, representing the 7 spirits of God, like the 7 torches blazing before the throne in Revelation. Its design, a central shaft with branches shaped like almond blossoms, was not chosen for beauty alone. It mirrored the tree of life, and by extension, the living energy of heaven itself. The table of showbread and altar of incense were not mere furnishings. They reflected heavenly function. The bread of presence spoke of eternal fellowship. The incense, always burning, mirrored the prayers of the saints rising day and night before the throne. The tabernacle's orientation, eastward, with the entrance facing the sunrise, aligned with Eden, the temple, and the throne room itself, always drawing the worshiper into the light, from outer court to inner glory. Every measurement was dictated by divine instruction. Cubits not guessed but given, dimensions not speculated but specified. Nothing was left to human creativity, for it was not man's house, it was God's dwelling. When Solomon later built his temple in Jerusalem, this divine pattern was not abandoned, it was expanded. No longer a mobile tent of animal skins, it became a permanent structure of cedar, gold, and stone, yet still tethered to the heavenly design. In the inner sanctuary, Solomon placed 2 massive cherubim made of olive wood, each 10 cubits high, wings outstretched from wall to wall, overshadowing the ark. This was not artistic grandeur, it was architectural theology. The temple walls were carved with palm trees, open flowers, and cherubim, symbols of Eden, the throne room, and the unbroken union between heaven and earth. Gold covered everything, not for decadence, but to reflect divine glory. Gold does not tarnish, it reflects light, the same way the throne reflects the radiance of God. The temple's courts and chambers followed the threefold pattern of the tabernacle. Outer court, holy place, most holy place. Each step bringing the worshiper deeper into sacred space, ascending in glory, narrowing in arcus. Only one could enter the most holy place, and only once a year, for the Holy of Holies was still guarded by cherubim, not stone statues, but heavenly archetypes. The temple was not merely a place of sacrifice, it was a living diagram. The priests were not just mediators, they were walking symbols of holiness, bearing 12 stones on their breastplate for the 12 tribes, moving as intercessors before God, just as the 24 elders surround the heavenly throne. The garments they wore, white linen, blue and purple robes, bells and pomegranates, a golden plate inscribed with holiness to the Lord, were not costuming, but encoded meaning. They walked within the sacred pattern, enacting on earth what the angels do in heaven. Even the sacrifices were not only for sin, they pointed upward. The blood sprinkled on the mercy seat, the smoke rising from the altar, the oil poured out, the first fruits given. All of it was a language, a liturgy, a mirror, heaven's order, and manifested on earth. And God dwelled there, not metaphorically, but truly. His presence filled the tabernacle like a cloud so thick Moses could not enter. His glory descended upon Solomon's temple with such fire and weight that the priests could not stand. These were not moments of spiritual imagination. They were moments of spatial alignment when earth's pattern matched heaven's presence. Yet even in their perfection, the tabernacle and temple were incomplete. They were still veiled, the cherubim still guarded the way, the veil still separated. Access was granted only through blood, and only for a moment. But this imperfection was not failure, it was preparation. Hebrews tells us that Christ entered not into a man-made sanctuary, but into heaven itself, to appear for us in God's presence. The earthly sanctuary was a copy of the true one, and when Christ died, the veil was torn, not from bottom to top, but from top to bottom, because heaven initiated it. The pattern was fulfilled. The reflection gave way to reality. And yet, the architectural truth remains. Heaven has form, heaven has structure, and God, in His mercy, gave us a model, not to imprison worship, but to elevate it, to show that worship is not invented, it is revealed. Every church, every altar, every act of reverence echoes this original pattern, and every time a believer lifts their voice in praise, burns with holy fire, walks into a place of consecration, they step into the dimensions set forth on the mountain. They enter the replica. They join the reality. Earth is not disconnected from heaven. The pattern proves it. The blueprint was always His, and every cubit still points upward. The throne of God is not merely awe-inspiring. It is architecturally transcendent, constructed not with materials, but with meaning. At first glance, what Ezekiel, Isaiah, and John saw seems overwhelming. Wheels inside wheels, lightning wrapped in clouds, creatures with 4 faces, seas of crystal, stones of fire. But within this strangeness lies a language, geometry, numerology, symmetry, a divine blueprint that binds heaven's throne to the very logic of creation. Why, for instance, does the throne stand above a firmament of crystal, clear as ice and stretched out like a sea? Because crystal does not absorb. It reflects. It reveals what is above while separating what is below. It is the visible floor of the invisible kingdom, the boundary between the eternal and the temporal. Its transparency signals purity, and its firmness speaks of law. The throne is not suspended in chaos. It is enthroned above order, above the firmament, just as Genesis described the separation between waters above and waters below. This structure is not abstract. It is a mirror of cosmic design. And why are there 4 living creatures, not 5 or 7? Because 4 is the number of the created world, 4 directions, 4 winds, 4 corners of the earth. These beings, each with a face of man, lion, ox, and eagle, symbolize the totality of divine dominion, humanity, royalty, servanthood, and sovereignty. They face every direction because there is no angle of existence untouched by God's authority. Their wings are not just for flight. They are measurements of glory, reaching out and upward, touching one another to form a living canopy. And within them, fire moves, not a fire that destroys, but that purifies, burns clean, and speaks. Between these creatures moves something even more mysterious, the Ophanim, wheels within wheels, covered in eyes, turning in harmony without turning at all. Their motion is not chaotic. It is the manifestation of eternal synchronization. A wheel within a wheel speaks of interdimensional reality, heaven moving within heaven, time revolving inside eternity, past and future circling a fixed now. And the eyes? They are not decoration, they are perception. Nothing is hidden from the throne because the throne is surrounded by total sight. Every gaze of the Ophanim is an act of governance, a surveillance of righteousness, not out of suspicion, but out of justice. They see not only what is, but what should be. And the number 3, it repeats like a heartbeat through the throne room. Holy, holy, holy. Not once, not twice, but 3 times, echoing the triune completeness of the Godhead: Father, Son, Spirit, past, present, future, heaven, earth, and the underworld. The triple cry is more than emphasis. It is the sound of perfection, not redundancy, but fullness. In biblical numerology, 3 is the number of divine wholeness. When the seraphim cry, "Holy, holy, holy," they are not repeating out of habit. They are describing a holiness that covers every dimension. And the sapphire stone beneath the throne, not simply blue for beauty, but blue for revelation. Blue is the color of the sky, the unreachable expanse, the divine distance. It is the hue of law, as when God called Moses and the elders to ascend Sinai, and they saw under his feet something like a pavement of sapphire, as clear as the sky itself. Exodus 24:10. This stone does not shimmer for effect. It anchors the throne. Sapphire is among the hardest of stones. It cannot be easily broken. This throne, then, rests not on shifting sand, but on unbreakable justice. It is law that shines, not merely commands, but essence, truth as foundation. The fire that moves between the cherubim, leaping like coals, flashing like lightning, is not theatrical. It is the energy of divine purification. Fire is always at the center of holy presence, from the burning bush to Sinai's summit, from Elijah's altar to the tongues of Pentecost. In heaven's throne room, it is not dormant, it is alive. It does not flicker, it flows. It does not wait, it judges. And yet, it does not destroy the throne, it preserves it. For God is not consumed by fire, he is fire. Scripture says, he makes his ministers flames of fire, and yet he remains distinct. The source, the blaze, the consuming glory. Geometry is everywhere in the throne room. Circles, the shape of perfection and unending motion, define the ophaneum and the rainbow that encircles the throne. Squares, the shape of stability and symmetry, define the Holy of Holies on earth and the dimensions of the New Jerusalem. 12 gates, 12 foundations, measurements in perfect multiples. Heaven is not a chaos of clouds and spirit. It is a structured reality, ordered by design so precise that every line draws worship. The New Jerusalem is described in Revelation as a perfect cube, its length, width, and height equal, 12,000 stadia in each direction. This is no accident. The Holy of Holies was also a perfect cube, 10 by 10 by 10 cubits. The cube is the shape of access, of dwelling, of divine presence contained and yet infinite. Shapes matter, numbers matter, because God speaks not only in words but in proportions. The throne room, then, is not simply a place. It is a theorem of glory. Every angle preaches, every beam declares, every curve carries an attribute. Justice is balanced in symmetry. Holiness radiates in symmetry. Grace moves in spiral patterns, always encircling the throne, always returning to the center. Light moves through this geometry as well. Lightning flashes, not randomly, but in cadence with the movement of beings and the speaking of voices. Thunder sounds as responses, not merely noise, but rhythm. The sea of glass before the throne, mingled with fire, is not just a surface. It is a metaphor made matter, a reflection of the throne's perfection, calm yet alive, still yet burning. There is no chaos here, only layered order, the kind that would collapse creation if disrupted. Everything exists in tension, stillness and motion, fire and clarity, form and formlessness. And in the middle of it all sits the throne, not resting on bricks or arches, but on praise, on holiness, on the very fabric of being. It is a seat, yes, but also a generator, a governor, a gravitational center. Without it, galaxies would unravel, laws would break, spirits would wander, time would cease. The architecture of heaven is not theory, it is the structure of existence. Before we continue, if this content has blessed your life, like, comment, and share. Subscribe to the channel, and if you would like to bless the channel, click the Super Thanks button and leave an offering of any amount or become a member. That way, we can continue investing in research and improvements to bless your life even more. Now, let us return to the geometry of glory, for there is more. The very breath of the throne pulses in frequencies we cannot hear, but heaven can. Light, sound, number, and movement all converge into one reality. God does not merely rule, He builds. He constructs reality by the measure of His holiness, and every blueprint drawn on earth that seeks to reflect heaven must begin with this. Nothing in God's presence is accidental. Every form has meaning, every measurement, a message. The throne room is not a place of random splendor. It is sacred engineering, eternal architecture. And the more we study its shapes, its numbers, its fire, the more we behold the beauty of a God who builds with wonder and who holds the universe together not only by power, but by perfect design. The first to see it move was Ezekiel, standing by the river Chebar, exiled, displaced, and yet suddenly caught in a whirlwind of divine revelation. The heavens opened, and what he saw changed everything. Not a stationary temple, nor an unmoving throne enshrined in the cold stillness of eternity, but a living, mobile throne borne aloft by beings of fire, light, and wheels spinning with eyes. The throne of God moved, not because God had changed, but because He never was distant to begin with. The vision was violent in beauty, a storm wind from the north, a great cloud with fire flashing forth continually, and brightness all. Around it, and in the midst of the fire, something like gleaming metal. Out of it came 4 living creatures, the cherubim, and beside each, a wheel, the Ophanim, their rims high and dreadful, filled with eyes, turning wherever the spirit would go. But the throne did not rest above them, as a passive ruler seated in detachment. No, the throne moved with them. It surged, it responded, it advanced. This was no empty vision, it was a revelation. The government of God does not stand still. It goes forth. It does not wait to be summoned. It arrives. The throne travels not because God is restless, but because His rule is active. It visits covenants, invades history, approaches judgment, and initiates redemption. The throne descended upon Mount Sinai in smoke and thunder, and the people trembled. The same throne filled the tabernacle, and later the temple, with glory so thick the priests could not stand. And yet, it did not stay locked in those places. It appeared to Isaiah in a temple, a vision. It appeared to Daniel in night visions. It appeared to John on the Isle of Patmos, blazing with thunder, lightning, and voices. These are not poetic descriptions. They are records of visitation. God's throne is a courtroom that moves to the scene of history. It rolls on wheels of fire because judgment cannot be delayed. It roars like many waters because its voice must silence all others. The cherubim do not turn when the throne moves, for their eyes already behold all directions. The wheels do not pivot because they are already facing every outcome. This is omnidirectional justice. This is divine mobility. No war, no rebellion, no hidden place can outrun the throne of God. When it comes, nothing stays the same. And where it comes, something is always decided. Mercy or judgment, favor or fire, restoration or wrath. Ezekiel's vision revealed a courtroom that pursues, that seeks out cities, nations, and hearts, not as an intruder, but as the rightful ruler. When the throne approached Eden after the fall, it stationed cherubim and a flaming sword, not to destroy man, but to preserve the tree of life for a future redemption. When the throne came near Egypt through Moses, it broke the back of oppression. When it hovered over the mercy seat in the tabernacle, it signaled that God would meet His people not from a distance, but between the wings of cherubim, over the blood of atonement. The movement of the throne is not random. It is purposeful. It moves toward covenant, toward fulfillment, toward appointed times. It moved into Bethlehem through incarnation. It moved into Golgotha through sacrifice. It moved into the upper room through fire. The mobile throne is the reason Pentecost could happen. The fire that once remained between the cherubim now touched human heads. The very spirit that moved the wheels now moves hearts. And yet, the throne is not finished moving. It moved into the church age through the Holy Spirit, but it will move again, visibly, finally gloriously. Daniel saw it in his vision. I watched until thrones were placed, and the Ancient of Days took his seat. His throne was fiery flames, its wheels were burning fire. Judgment will not come from silence. It will ride in on a throne of fire. Revelation declares the same. Heaven opened, and a white throne appeared, great, terrible, alive with glory. This is not the end of the story. It is the convergence of all movement. The throne is coming, not metaphorically, but literally. The court of heaven will once again intersect with earth. and every knee will bow. For every place it has moved throughout history has only been rehearsal for the final arrival. And when it comes, every false throne will be shattered, every earthly kingdom will fall, every idol will melt. The throne is coming to judge the nations, and it will not consult parliaments. It will not debate philosophies. It will not be restrained by borders or beliefs. It will roll in with fire and eyes, and nothing will be hidden. But until that day, the throne still moves invisibly. It enters lives. It breaks into dreams. It convicts the heart. It whispers justice in the conscience of kings. It moves through history with the patience of eternity, choosing its moments, executing its decrees. The throne is never absent. It is present in war rooms and prayer closets, in battlefields and sanctuaries. It visits prophets and it confronts tyrants. It dwells in the heavens, but its wheels touch earth. And those who resist its movement resist reality itself. But those who submit to it, who recognize its majesty, are caught up in its current. They do not run from judgment, because judgment has already been laid upon the Lamb. For them, the throne is not fire to destroy, but glory to transform. The throne that moved in Ezekiel's day still moves now, and it calls. It calls to the just and the unjust, the humble and the proud. It does not move in haste, but it moves in certainty. The same throne that Moses bowed before, that Isaiah trembled beneath, that John fell down before as though dead. That throne is not far. It is coming. It is near, and it still speaks. Before we continue, if this video has spoken to your spirit, share it with others. Leave a comment, let us know what moved you, subscribe, and if you feel led to partner with us, click the super thanks or become a channel member. Your support helps us keep exploring the mysteries of Scripture to bless others around the world. Now, prepare your heart, for the throne does not merely move through visions, it moves toward you. And the only question that matters is this: when the throne arrives, what will it find in your heart? Surrender or resistance? For the architecture is not just about heaven, it is about alignment. When the throne speaks, will you be ready to listen? Hidden behind the thunder, beneath the fire, within the turning wheels and trembling wings, there is a mystery deeper than angelic orders and sacred geometry, a mystery veiled in glory, yet revealed in blood. The throne of heaven, with all its brilliance and precision, is not merely a seat for judgment, nor simply a monument to divine sovereignty. It is a throne built around a person, a presence, a plan. Every line of the throne's design, every creature that surrounds it, every beam of light and sea of glass, every cry of "Holy" from lips of fire, points not only upward to God, but inward to Jesus. He is not an accessory to heaven's majesty. He is its core, its code, its cause. He is the hidden architect, the Word through whom all things were made, and the Lamb through whom all things will be restored. The mercy seat between the cherubim and the earthly tabernacle was not merely a foreshadowing of divine forgiveness. It was a visual prophecy of the crucified Christ. For what is mercy without blood? And what is atonement without a sacrifice? In the Holy of Holies, the high priest would sprinkle blood upon that golden seat once a year between the wings of the cherubim, and there God's glory would appear. But Hebrews tells us that Jesus entered not into a tabernacle made with hands, but into heaven itself, offering his own blood, once for all. The golden ark was a shadow. The cherubim were reflections. The true mercy seat is Jesus, the place where justice and mercy kiss, where holiness is not compromised, but fulfilled. Beneath the throne, a pavement of sapphire, a stone of brilliant blue, strong and unbreakable, shimmers like the sky. This is not aesthetic choice. This is foundation. And Scripture says that no one can lay a foundation other than that which is laid, which is Jesus Christ. He is the cornerstone rejected by builders, now exalted. He is the sapphire beneath the throne, truth, clarity, righteousness, and royalty. When Moses and the elders of Israel glimpsed God on the mountain, they saw under his feet a pavement like sapphire, as clear as the sky. They saw the shadow of the sun standing firm before the ages, upholding the weight of glory. And what of the fire? That unquenchable blaze between the cherubim, flashing forth like judgment, like purification, like presence? That fire is not merely elemental, it is personal. It is the Word made flesh, the consuming fire of holiness that walked among men and did not destroy, but healed. The same fire that touched Isaiah's lips is the fire that burned in Christ's gaze when John beheld him in Revelation. Eyes like flames, feet like bronze in a furnace, a voice like many waters. Jesus is not peripheral to the throne. He is the radiance of God's glory, the exact imprint of his nature. He sustains all things by the word of his power. The living creatures cry, "Holy, holy, holy," not just to the Father, but to the fullness of the Godhead revealed in the Son. For in the midst of the throne, John saw a lamb, not beside it, not beneath it, not approaching it, but in the center, and the lamb was slain. This paradox lies at the heart of heaven's design, that the highest place is occupied by the lowest act, that majesty is revealed in meekness, that power flows from sacrifice. The throne of God is not an iron fist, but a wounded hand. It is not a golden cage, but a cruciform crown. And the Lamb who reigns bears the marks of his suffering still. The angels encircle him not merely out of duty, but out of awe. For they long to understand this mystery, that the eternal Logos, the one through whom the heavens were made, would descend into flesh, bleed, die, and rise, and yet not abandon his throne. Rather, he brought humanity into it. He tore the veil, not just between God and man, but between time and eternity. He ascended with his own blood into the Holy of Holies, not made with hands, and there he sat down at the right hand of majesty. But even that phrase, "at the right hand," is only partial. For Revelation shatters the metaphor and shows us what the prophets could not yet see. Jesus is in the midst of the throne. He does not sit beside the Father as a distant son. He is in the center, the axis, the heart of the throne's motion. The cherubim, the seraphim, the Ophanim, they orbit around him. Not because he is created, but because he is the creator in flesh. The throne is alive because he is life. The fire is holy because he is holiness. The voices cry, "Worthy," because he alone fulfilled what no other could. His blood speaks better things than that of Abel. Abel's blood cried for vengeance. Jesus' blood cries for mercy, and it speaks still. Every time the throne is approached, the blood speaks. Every time judgment is executed, the blood speaks. Every time worship erupts in heaven, the blood speaks, not as a relic of the past, but as the eternal receipt of redemption. He is the Lamb who was slain before the foundation of the world. That means the throne was built with his sacrifice in mind. The very design of heaven's court anticipated his death and resurrection. He was not an afterthought. He is the blueprint. The tabernacle was patterned after him. The temple reflected him. The cherubim guarded the way to him. The veil hid him. The fire purified for him. And the throne was prepared for him. Every throne in Scripture, David's, Solomon's, the elders, points to his. But his is higher. His is eternal. His is built not of gold and stone, but of obedience and blood. The throne that reigns forever is not cold, distant, or mechanical. It is relational, redemptive, and radiant. And even now, Jesus intercedes from that throne, not begging, but declaring, not pleading, but reigning. And yet, he still bears the scars. They are not erased in glory, they are glorified. For they are the proof that heaven's architecture is not indifferent to suffering. The throne did not hover above Golgotha, it passed through it. And so, when you approach the throne of grace, you approach the one who knows your pain, who designed the very court you now enter, not to judge you from afar, but to receive you with mercy. For the throne is holy, yes, but it is also a place of welcome, a place where the king wears scars, where the architect bled for the house he built, where the judge is also the savior. And in that throne, forever moving, burning, singing, spinning, is a heart that still beats with love for you. The throne that once thundered beyond the veil, encircled by fire and mystery, will not remain hidden forever. Revelation tells of a day when heaven will descend, not as concept or vision, but as city and certainty. The New Jerusalem, described in measurements more precise than any earthly blueprint, is not just the future home of the redeemed. It is the unveiling of heaven's architecture made visible. Its walls are not symbolic. They are stone, light, and glory fused into reality. Its gates, 12 in number, each formed of a single pearl, represent entry not earned but purchased, through suffering, through grace, through blood. Its foundations are adorned with 12 precious stones, each reflecting a layer of divine promise, each corresponding to an apostolic name, binding the old covenant and the new into one eternal city. This is no man-made kingdom. This is the city whose builder and architect is God, and at its center, not a palace, not a monument, a throne. From that throne flows the river of life, clear as crystal, winding through streets of gold transparent as glass, nourishing the tree of life whose leaves are for the healing of the nations. There is no temple in this city because the Lamb is its temple. There is no need for sun or moon because the throne radiates light. What the prophets saw in fragments, sapphire, fire, wheels, wings, will now be walked upon by saints, touched by resurrected hands, praised by glorified tongues. The throne that stood in inaccessible glory now invites eternal approach. No more veils, no more sacrifices, no more shadows. Only, reality, the kind that burns with holiness and welcomes with mercy. For those whose names are written in the Lamb's book of life, this throne is not terror, it is home, it is rest, it is the final Sabbath of all creation. But for those who rejected it, who built towers of pride and thrones of rebellion, this throne will descend not in beauty, but in judgment. For the architecture of heaven is not neutral, it is confrontational. It reveals the unshakable pattern of God's rule and challenges every counterfeit. When the throne comes, it will not ask for permission. It will not negotiate with kings. It will not be voted in or legislated out. It will arrive in power and demand response. Every knee will bow, not just the willing, but the defiant. Every tongue will confess, not just the worshiper, but the rebel. For the throne that gives life also renders verdict. Its fire is not sentimental. Its eyes do not miss anything. And when it comes, the structures of earth, empires, systems, the ideologies will be measured against it. Not all will stand. Babylon will fall. The beast will be judged. Thrones of injustice, altars of idolatry, towers of greed, everything built apart from the blueprint of heaven will crack, crumble, and disappear. The New Jerusalem will not rise beside them. It will rise instead of them. For this is not the renovation of earth. It is the replacement of all things. The city comes down because the old must pass away. Heaven does not simply visit, it inhabits. It tabernacles with men. And from the throne, the king will speak, "Behold, I make all things new." This is the fulfillment of every pattern, every shadow, every temple, every tear-stained altar. The throne has always been the goal, not just to rule over creation, but to dwell with it. In Genesis, God walked with man in the garden. In Revelation, he walks again. This time not in a fragile Eden, but in an eternal city, where nothing unclean may enter, where death is no more, and where the throne remains forever at the center. Its foundations are unmoved, its judgments are final, its mercy has no expiration. But its gates are open, always open. Open to the thirsty, to the broken, to the humble. For the Spirit and the bride say, "Come." And those who come do not merely enter a city, they inherit a kingdom. A throne once hidden behind smoke and sapphire, once glimpsed in dreams and dread, now welcomes them as sons and daughters. The Lamb reigns not beside the Father, but as the fullness of God, enthroned in light, surrounded by saints, served by angels, worshipped without end. No more night, no more curse, only light, life, and the throne. And you, yes, you, are invited. But your name must be written, for the throne does not bend to opinion. It does not adapt to culture. It does not lower itself to flatter the proud. It stands, it burns, it calls, and it waits. Not forever, but long enough for grace to do its work. The architecture of heaven is coming. The blueprint will walk among us. And when it does, it will either embrace or expose. Only one question remains. Will you be found inside its walls of light, or outside, facing its fire? The throne will move one last time, and when it does, eternity will begin.